Hey, this is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and this week we're pulling the transfer case out of Shannon's rig. We're about to put some stock transfer case gears back into it. Let's go. That's right. She had some 4.9 gears put into her transfer case by a local shop, and her rig's going too slow. So we're gonna throw her stock gears back into it. This should be pretty simple. Just gonna pull this cradle out of here, pull this transfer case, pull it apart, throw them gears back in. Let's do it. First thing I'm gonna do is pull these drive lines off. You got the intermediate drive line, you got the front drive line and the rear drive line. Let's pull them off. Actually, we're gonna pull this transfer case shifter out first, and I'm gonna throw this thing in neutral. Right there. Got two drive lines disconnected, and we're about to drain the oil out of this sucker. I'm gonna pull that drive line off. And then we've got a couple of bolts on this cradle, and we'll get this cradle and we'll drop this whole thing down. It'll only take us a couple of minutes. Got the rear drive line out, and I pulled this guy, and I need to make sure that it ain't gonna get caught up in this cradle. And I'm gonna start pulling these bolts for this cradle. You got two right here and then two right here. And looks like I got a connection right up there that I gotta unhook. The shifter's out, so this thing's about to fall out of here. That was your opportunity to tell me how I did it wrong. All right, we got the transfer case out. Take it out of this cradle, and then start taking it apart. Whoever worked on this before me, talking to the camera. You want to talk to the camera? Whoever worked on this before me put a bunch of different size bolts in this thing. So a lot of metric and standard mixed in. You can talk all you want, bud. I can edit it out. You see how I live my life? Kind of ego crazy. End of the story cradle or something like that. Look at what somebody did in the.
I bet you that's good.
You know what I'm saying? Take the top of it first. You're making me look bad, like I need some help or something. What's wrong with that dog?
He's mad. Mad that I'm coming out here without him.
Yeah, he mad.
Hi.
I just told him, I said, you can say whatever you want, I'll just edit it out.
Yeah.
I was like, you trying to make me look bad? Like I need some help? Forgot my hoodie, dude. We had to shut all the doors, bro. Forgot my hoodie. I was freezing to death.
Dude, I had to turn the heater on last night when I was working on the trackers. I put all the interior back in that one. And
you cold? Yeah. I'm blowing up over there. So tough. All these little bolts on this cradle. I know it's probably good for keeping this cradle or keeping this transfer case from breaking, but man, they're hard to get to. Brother.
What's up, brother? Another one?
Another one. I won't be using that bolt going back in. I wasn't asking. Whew, get that out of the way. All right, 27 millimeter. 27 millimeter to take these nuts off. And remember, the sharp ones go up front, and hers is she's got an adapter on her front, but the longer one goes in the back. I just put the nut with the flange that it came off of. You got two long bolts that go right underneath this shifter. I'm gonna keep the ones for this housing separate from the ones that come out of the rest of it. All the rest of these are basically the same size. There's a ball bearing underneath this four-wheel drive light, and we don't want to lose that. Ball bearing. You want to pull this out before you start trying to take these halves apart. That's your speedometer cable. Clean that up. What up, buddy?
I thought you were in school. Learning how to work on Mercedes.
Oh, sir. Is that my new job around here? I'm working on Mercedes.
I think you can do it. I think you can fix that Mercedes.
I'm not afraid of it. What's wrong with it?
They didn't want to run. It's got a couple codes, and they didn't want to mess with it. And it's O2 sensors, one in the exhaust, and I think somewhere else. And it could be plugged up. Who knows? You know.
Split this sucker apart.
I saw somebody had a thing that go in like this and go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it cranks it open.
We need a
Yeah. So you're not prying and scratching. It's just it doesn't.
These are pretty simple.
But
I'm gonna put gears. I'm gonna put those gears in this and put it back together, and I'll have it done here in about an hour.
is this is the wrong gear ratio thing? They were unmatched, right? Rear and front or something.
So no, her axle gears are 529s, and she has a 490 gear in her transfer case. Back whenever it was 373s, that was fine, but now
That's a
she's got-
bind, right?
Yeah, it just basically goes real slow. You'll be in fifth gear doing 45, 50 miles an hour. She just wants to go a little bit faster.
It's got, what are you putting in? 370s?
I'm gonna put they're 2 to 1.
See, this is why people go, take it to the dealer. Yeah. Well, because when you took shit to the dealer, and there's guys that work there a long time mechanic, they've seen everything because they're only working on all Mercedes or all Toyotas, and then you do it just like this. You've done enough of these that it's not puzzling. You're not sitting there scratching your head going, God, I need help.
Right. I don't need no help.
I think gears are cool. They're just they're so cool.
This is the part where you start taking pictures. Well, I lost my phone for a bit, and then Shannon stopped by to see the progress. So we ended up talking for a while. The whole time I was putting that back together. So put the transfer case back together, and I'm about to put the front end on it and put it back in that cradle and stick it back in the Samurai. We're just about done here. Put new seals on it. It shifts in and out of gear. It's got new bearings and everything, new seals. So always remember to use these gaskets because that's a shim. So we're gonna put gaskets on it, but I take that black RTV and I rub it all on that gasket, and then I'll put it back on there. I'll clean that gasket surface up and stick it back on there. Well, I didn't really film it, but I got that transfer case back in. I got the top drive line in, got the front drive line about to go in. Need to throw the rear drive line in and put some oil in it. And she's ready to go. Like I said, the reason why we did this is because Shannon got that 2.0 swap, and she had 490 gears in her transfer case and 529s in her axles, and it was going slow. So we opted to throw the stock gears back in her transfer case. Took me a couple hours to pull the transfer case, pull it apart, put it back together. And so I have 6.5 gears in my transfer case, and I got 4.3 gears in my axles with 35s. And I'm able to do about 62, 63 miles an hour. I got plenty of power, just won't go very fast because of the gearing. I'm up in the 4,500 to 5,000 RPMs. So stock gears, she should be able to turn those 33s over with stock gears and those 529s in her axles. And I think I'm going to get those 490s from her, throw it in my transfer case to kind of clean up my overall speed as well. So I'm about to throw this thing down on the floor. We're going to bolt them drive lines, then we're going to take it for a rip. I left my Samurai over at her house, so I got to bring it back to her in one piece. So it's time to go. Let's go put those drive lines in and take it for a test drive.